Hello folks, welcome back. I am Technivorous. Today I'm going to show you just exactly how it is that you make your own theme for Cura. And it's actually really easy to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open a folder and I'm going to navigate to my current Cura folder, which I know is 4.6. Now this is actually 4.6.1 and this is 4.6.0. So this is the updated one and this is the version I want. So I'm going to go in there, click on Resources, Themes, and here I am. So at this point I'm in a folder that needs administrative permission to do anything. That's why when you download one of these packages and move it into here, it asks for administrator permission to place it there. It's going to ask the same thing when I go to copy one of these. The one I'm going to copy is the Cura Light. You can do the Cura Dark, but if you go in there and actually read the theme, you can see it derives from Cura Light. So there are some things that you can change, that options that are available in this one that aren't available in Cura Dark. So we're going to take Cura Light, we're going to copy, and we're simply going to paste. It is going to say you'll need to provide administrator permission. We will continue. It's also going to make us give permission when we rename it, which we are about to do right now. And this one is going to be my Joker Cura. These names are not set in stone. I will be changing them to something a little bit more elusive before releasing, but this just helps me keep track of what I'm doing. So once you're in that folder, all you really want to do is open the theme file right here. Now this is a JSON file, so it contains only data, which unfortunately makes it hard to comment things. So one of the first things you're going to notice in here is, again, if you try to save it, it's going to say you need administrative permission. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. If I hit save, it's basically going to say, would you like to open Notepad++ in administrator mode? If you do that, you still will have to hit save once again. I just realized you can't see this over here. Whoops. So basically this is what it looks like. This is the JSON file. I am now in administrative mode, so it will let me save it, which means that I can make changes to it. The first thing I'm going to change is all the way at the top is the name. If you see a second line here that says derived from or something like that, that means that you grabbed the dark profile and not the original plain Ultimaker profile with all the things we need in it. So go back and get the other one. Otherwise you're going to be frustrated that you can't change colors of certain things. So I think that it's going to be my Joker theme. I think I was going to call this one just ha 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 ha. Let's do 3 of those. Okay. So save that. And I might as well rename this too, just so it's right. And then I'm going to open Cura. Now you'll notice when I open Cura, it's going to open the last theme that I have open because I haven't selected this one yet. Because until I copy it and rename it, there isn't one to select. I definitely recommend renaming it before opening Cura, because otherwise you'll have 2 options that say Ultimaker, and it's not necessarily always the second one. Sometimes I click on the wrong one and then I got to reload it. So definitely rename it before you go loading Cura. It'll make it easier to find when you are switching to it. Now, opening and closing Cura is something we're going to have to do quite a bit in order to work this process. It's a lot of trial and error, and I also do use another tool that I will show you in just a second. That's pretty handy. Okay, so this is the back Cura. Pretty decent skin, I think. I like it. I don't mind. What we're going to do is go to Preferences and Configure Cura. You can see here it says Theme Back Cura, and here's our new theme, ha ha ha. And you'll notice that it gets the name from inside the theme file, not the folder. It doesn't really matter what we call the folder. This is all from this file right here. Okay, so that was telling us the file didn't exist anymore, and that's because I renamed it. So I didn't want to keep it. Just open it back up again. I don't want to keep it because then I would have been making changes to one that was in a different folder. So this is the right file. You guys shouldn't have had that problem. Excuse me. And now here you can see some of the meat. Now, we're looking at colors. That's basically all we change. You can change the font. It is a little bit trickier, and it makes some of the things kind of hard to read. So I tend to leave the fonts how they are for the most case. But if you want to get into that, there are different types of font in here. So basically you change the main font family and it will do different effects to them. So you don't have to use the font that you put in for everything, like fine text. You can leave that how it is and just change the bigger headings. But we're basically just going to be dealing with the colors today. So here we go. Colors. You can see we have the main background color. Now, one might assume that the main background color is the main background of the window, but it is not. Okay, the main background color is actually the main background color of the settings container. So I'll show you what I mean here. Right now it's set to 255, 255, 255. That is solid white. And this fourth number here is the alpha, which means you make things semi-transparent. It's kind of cool for adding your own effects for things like the tooltip, but for most things we'll just leave that at 255. Right now, let's go ahead and change this main background. Now these are RGB colors, so you're going to use a red value, a green value, and a blue value in that order, somewhere between 0 and 255, 255 being the max, and you can mix these colors and make different colors. So let's do a real easy one. Since the R is first in RGB, we'll do red, because this will make it very obvious what we've done. And I still have to put in the other two numbers even though they're 0. They have to be there. So now we're going to hit save. We're going to open Cura, and we're going to get a very, very ugly red box on the right hand side around all of our settings. I'm not sure why they put this as main background. We'll jump to the part that you want to see in just a second, and then I have a couple other things to show you as far as where you're going and what to do in here. So some of the things aren't named according to a convention that I would have named them according to. They're a little bit difficult to place. So there you have it. That is what is referred to as main background there. So it's not really ideal. You can see you would assume that that would be this background here. Let's go and see where that property really is. However, I'm going to take and do a nice Joker green color in here. So before we go and alter the background property here, let's find our colors. And the way that I do that is by using this Rgb Color Picker. And you can just go to Google or pretty much any powerful enough search engine and just type in Rgb Color Picker and you'll get one of these. Down here you see there are different values. These are all the values for this color. Now if I was using hex colors to get this purple, I would use this number right here. Or excuse me, this combination of digits right here. I am going to be using RGB, so we'll take these, and we're only replacing the first 3. So I actually like this purple color though for what I'm going for, this eggplant. So we're gonna take this, and I'm just gonna put it right there for right now. This code won't actually run with that right there because it has to be exactly what it's looking for, no extra data. And actually, let's just take that out so we don't have to deal with it. I have another file over here which are colors for some of the themes that I'm using. We'll just put that there because I want to use that color again. We're looking for a green though. Something vibrant, not too high contrast, I think somewhere in there. And let's change that main background color. There we have it. So that's our main background color, this thing right here. Let's go ahead and grab that purple color. Let's see. Let's save the numbers for the green there so we can get an exact match. It becomes kind of tedious if you don't do this to search through there for these exact numbers. If you don't have a key telling you what they are, it's actually easy to search. And you can do this in any text editor, by the way. I like using Notepad++ because it actually puts in the syntax of the actual code instead of just giving you all solid black font. Makes it easier to see the numbers and the commas and things like that. So it comes in handy. Let's do, I'll show you where some of the other settings are. So some of these are pretty obvious, and we'll come back to them in a minute, such as primary and secondary button. We'll find those in a minute. Main window header is this guy up here, and you can't tell really because the colors they chose are really close, but there's actually two colors in here and a gradient. We'll come back to that in a minute as well. The one I wanted to show you, which we're actually going to turn back to white after we do this, is down here. So this is Viewport Background. This is the main background that you see back here. If we go into, let's try monitor mode. You see all this white here can be changed as well. Let's do let's do the build plate and change the color of the build plate to that purple. And the volume outline we're going to change as well to that purple. And this is one of those rare cases where we're going to take the alpha down. I'm going to go down to about 200 because I still want it to be pretty solidly visible, but I don't want it to be bam in your face. The viewport background, we're going to take to black, which is 0, 0, 0. Now, for my theme, I'm actually picturing that being white, but I want you to see the viewport background change to a different color than the build plate and the volume outline that I've selected here. Now, the build plate grid and build plate grid minor, in fact, let's alter that a little bit. So, volume outline, that's my purple. Copy that. Build plate is my purple. So build plate grid minor, purple. Let's grab that green. Build plate grid green. Volume outline, green. Okay, so what we have just changed is basically most of what you see right here. So build plate is that gray square right there. The volume outline is this blue line that fills the box, that lines the box of where you can print. The build plate grid is these larger gray squares here, and the build plate grid minor, if I zoom in, you can see in there another set of smaller squares, and that's that one. So I've set purple and green across here, and green up here, and then purple here, and then I also set the very background, which will be black. We've also changed this to green because that red was kind of gaudy. So let's close that. I have to make sure I save the file so Cura loads the right one. If I have any extra commas in here, it's going to throw an error and tell me that it's not working. So we don't want any extra commas. We want it to be pretty much just exactly as it was. All we're changing is the number values for the colors so that we end up exactly where we want to be. This is the painstaking part because you can't see on my right window. On my left window, Cura is loading. It will pop up here in a second, and it should have our changes. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way yet to make instantaneous changes, and in fact, it even tells you when you change between themes, you will need to reload Cura, so it definitely is something it only does at startup. And actually, for right now, I'm quite pleased with the black background. I think I might leave that. Let's zoom in here. And actually, you can't see those smaller purple grid squares because they're the same color as the mat, as the floor here. So one of the things I like to do to the build plate is take the transparency of that down quite a bit. Because we have the grid there, we know the size of it, we don't really need a representation of the plate. I do like to leave it there a little bit. Let's do about 35. We'll save that. Go ahead and open another one of these, and we can look around for a minute. So there you have it. This is actually pretty simple, pretty plain. We are going to go through some of the other settings here, but you can see it starting to take shape into this nice Joker type color background here. So I think the next thing I want to do is change the top here. I think for this one we're going to go with the purple, and then we're going to have green and white and red buttons. So let's find a purple that's complementary to this one. And that green as well. So something a little darker. We're more on the plum side. I think that's good. Let's do that. Let's take that color. We'll go over here to our color key. Put dark purple there. Our second window of Cura has opened up with our changes. So now, when we zoom in on the grid, we can see that smaller grid. So let's go ahead and take our dark purple. Go back to the part at the top where I told you the main window header was. So if we get up here past, just into the colors, right here where it says main window header background and main window header background gradient. The one that says gradient is actually the middle part. We're going to put our darker color there. Just give it a little more pop. And we're going to go back and grab our other purple. We are going to put that right in here. Now, there are different colors. The button text inactive, and button text hovered. We are actually going to change this. For when it is active to white, so 255, 255, 255. This is the text. Right now this white button is active and the text is a blue color. We're changing that text right there to be white, and then we're going to change the button color. If we didn't change the button color, we wouldn't be able to see it. So let's go back in here. And main header button background active. Now this is the active, not these two, which are inactive. And then you see it turning gray. That's the hovered state. So this is all taken care of by this block right here. So main window header button background active, right here where it's white. We want to change this to our green color. So let's grab that. This is also one of those projects where the sticky note thing comes in really handy, because you can just have a sticky note here with your 3 or 4 colors on it. And then window header background inactive. So window header button background inactive. Yep, we've changed these to be white, and then when it's hovered, the hovered color is going to stay for now. I do want to change the color of the text for the inactive from white so that they don't match the button, and I actually want these to be red, so we're going to just change these two numbers to zeros. Hit save, and then the way that I did that without closing the other one was right-clicking on it here where I have it pinned to the start bar, and then clicking on an unopened version. That way I can still stick around in here and kind of look at the things that I need to change still. And then if I have them both open, I can kind of compare and contrast. As long as you have it saved, it doesn't really matter. So we're changing a lot up here right now. There are some more minor details I'm going to make adjustments to, but I'm not sure what all my colors are yet. I have a light purple, a dark purple, a green, and a white. This black is doing it for me in the background. I'm really enjoying that. Let's see the changes here. Oh, and you can see. Okay, so this is not bad. I'm not seeing my gradient, which means those two colors aren't close enough together, and I want these buttons to be white when they're not highlighted. So let's go in here and see what I did wrong. Button background inactive. window header background. Window header background gradient. Okay, which one's the dark one? Dark purple, 103, 40, 138. This one. So we need something darker. So let's try this. Let's see if it stands out any better. We're also going to alter it here so we don't mix it up at all later. And open a new one. While that's opening, I also want to take a look. It's window header button text. Inactive. See, this is one of those things that where it just kind of skipped me. So this right here, the alpha, the reason that this isn't showing as white is because it is set to 0, and we need to set it to full so it will show up. So we're going to open a third window of Cura. We're going to close this one. Second one's opening behind it. I'm not going to have all the changes we need, but you can see it is a little bit darker up there where we want our highlights to be, and that I think will work well. Although we will give it a shot switching this gradient around real quick. So let's go back while it's loading the other one still, and we'll change this and this. And I also need to replace the one I just changed from. Alright, and then here you can see, I'll show you in just a second here, might as well just save this and load one more. Okay, so you can see the buttons are white with red lettering. That is exactly what I want. And then you can see things are going pretty well. Okay, the white, green, purple, very, very Joker-esque. Not sure. See, one of the reasons I want the background to be white is because I want to do a Riddler background as well, and that one's going to be dark and purple and green, but with no white. The Joker has a white face and offers the opportunity to throw in some red accents in there. So this one is going to be a little bit blander, but also a little bit multicolored compared to the Riddler one. But I'm really digging this black, so I think I might just leave it. Let's see how we're looking here. You can see everything changes when I click on it. That's fine, that's fine. Monitoring mode, still nothing there because I don't have a printer hooked up. Okay, so I've shown you how to change a lot of the stuff in here. You may be wondering about things like this folder here, or what happens when I bring in a model. So here's a model. I brought it in. You can see that some of the things are colored, some of the things are not, and this button right here is kind of a pain. So let's look at a little key that I've made, and I haven't gone through every single setting in here yet and found out exactly where it is, but I do have some information marking what starts where, and I definitely highly suggest getting something like this. I can post this file and let you download it, but it's not complete yet, so I'm hesitant to do so. It just comes in handy for me as a reference guide. Let's go look at a couple more things where I do know off the top of my head where they are. Okay, so one of them, the first one, is toolbar background, and that's this guy right here. And I'm going to change that to purple. And then there's another one that I know. That's this guy right here, icon. So let's get green. So icon is like this folder right here, and some of these icons here. It doesn't cover these ones down here. There are a couple more hidden around the UI that it does change the color of. And then you have your main two buttons. Now, if you look at primary, second, the primary button, this here is actually, let's see. You'll notice that that's purple now because that is the toolbar background. You'll notice that this button is green, and these ones are as well. Kind of like that. I might change the selected color to red just to make it a little bit more poppy. But okay, so this blue button here, this is anything that says primary button is going to be a blue button like this. Anything that says secondary button is going to be a gray button like this. So the best way to change them is to change them both. Let's make the primary button purple with white text. So let's do this one. So that's light purple. There's also a shadow there, which we're going to grab the dark purple for. The shadow is this tiny little line underneath it here. And then you have the primary button hover, so that's the color it turns when you hover over it. We definitely don't want it to turn that purple color. Let's make it turn white. And we need to change the text color. We were going to do green, so let's grab our green color and change that to green. Alright, so the secondary button, I think we will do something a little bit different. Let's do the opposite of that. Let's make the secondary button green. No, you know what? Let's make the secondary button white. Let's make the secondary button shadow bright red. And our red color is simple. It is. And then the secondary button hovering, we'll change that color to a gray color, so it's close to the white. And then the secondary button text, we want this to also be red. And now we are ready to save, and we should see some changes not only here and here but some other places as well. Let's go ahead and load one of those. Okay, so we changed this button and this button with the primary and secondary buttons here. One of the other things you might want to check out, toolbar button hover, active hover. These are the colors of these things when they are hovered over. Right now hover is set to pretty close to white, but it's actually a gray color. And then some of these other ones. So you have there we are. So you can see our recommended button there. Can't slice anything unless we bring something in. And you have our green and purple slice button there. That's pretty cool. We don't need this one open anymore. Okay, and then you have like the button tooltip. So if I go here over the button, this is the button tooltip. The color you're getting is 120, 120, 120, and then the text is, okay, so this actually isn't the button tooltip, otherwise the text would be black. So let's see. Oh, maybe that's right. Let's check it out. There are two different tooltips, and that's why this confuses me. So button tooltip, make the background white, tooltip border we'll do purple, tooltip text we'll do green. You can do any colors you want here, obviously. I'm throwing together something I have in my mind. So save. open. And the other tooltip is actually just two things, and that's right here. We're just going to make the background of this one green with white text. We'll save again, we'll launch a different one, see if we can pin down the difference between those two real quick. Okay, no tooltip on that one, no tooltip change. Drag a part in before I can slice. Okay, so I'm not getting tooltips there, but I am getting, no, they're not showing in my settings either. It should be the next one then. Too many versions open. There we go, there's the green and white tooltip. Don't like that one. Don't like it at all. So we're going to do take down the opacity. And let's see. Okay. Let's open one more of those. Oops. God dang. Alright. Alright, and then you have the message background, message border, message close. Those are all for when you click on slice, then you get a message saying how far it's sliced. And when you click save file, you get a message saying that it's saved. That is all right here. Some of these other ones are pretty self-explanatory, some of them are pretty convoluted. So this disallowed area here is the color for the unprintable area that is forced to the edge of your bed in Cura by the slicer. And we can look at that in just a second here. Let me get the right version of this open. Drag a part in here. I want to check the change I just made. Like I said, there's a lot of iterating over the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I think that looks better for a tooltip. Pretty bright, pretty jokery though. Not bad. We were going to look at the disallowed area. Let's do some red there. I'm pretty fond of that. We're going to make it a lot darker. And then while we're here, these two things, unsliceable and unsliceable alternate, those are the colors of your camo. Let's do white and solid red, and I'll show you what they do. So, and lastly, nope, two more things while we're here. Under model selection outline, we're going to make this bright green. Nah, let's make it red. That is the outline around the object you have selected. Let's check out the X-ray color here. We're going to make that dark purple. Alright, now now I'm not going to go all the way to the end of this. While I have this last one opening, let's take a look at some of these other settings. You see these layer views are exactly what they say. After you slice it, these are the lines that show your skin, your sport, your infill, things like that. You can change the colors of all those here. And then you have the favorites header bar. The monitor stuff is all for monitor mode, and then the connected and disconnected status. There are a few other things in here that we skipped over you might want to be aware of, such as the slider, slider groove fill, slider handle. Those are some things that are in here under the settings. And then you have the progress bar background and progress bar control. That is the thing that scans across when you slice a model. So if I drag this in here and I hit slice, this bar right here can be changed to whatever colors you want as well. I will be changing that in this theme, but I didn't figure I needed to show you that right this second. Like I said, the messages are, yeah, I know, I already saved it, are like these. You can change the color of these, but because we have our main button coded, it's already going to be right here. You can also change the color of this bar right here. For this particular one, I am going to leave it alone, but I will show you where it's at in the code here. It is pretty much right near the top, where it says primary, this all this right here, and then the ones that say action buttons. So they are right here. So all of this is that white, the white borders at the top. You'll get frustrated trying to figure out why this one is a different color even after you change the color of this bar here. And that is because it is selected. If you close it, it will go back to the regular color, but this one is always going to be your selected color. For that, you can see our disallowed area around the grid. You can see our model lights up red around the edges. Let's go ahead and go to preview mode. I didn't change any of the colors for the preview mode, but we could do that. I did, however, change the X-ray color, and it is purple right now. I think I'm going to change that, though, and see how a white X-ray looks. And then that will be the last change that we make in this video before I go on to finish up this theme and move on to the next one. So let's go back to our X-ray line here. We're going to do 255, 255, 255. And I'm actually going to take the alpha down on this one to about 200. And then we'll save. I'm going to go ahead and leave this file open because I'm going to be building on it. And we will go ahead and open another version of Cura. So click that, and we can close this one. Like I said, it's really handy to keep track of all of your changes by at least keep track of your colors and kind of create a separate version. The reason I have this version in WordPad and not in there is because I have it saved as another file, because I don't want to confuse it with any of my JSON files, because all of these you can't comment in JSON, so this will screw up the processing and it'll make Cura not work. But I wanted to have a file that I could refer to and kind of get what I needed out of it. So let's look one last time and see how that X-ray color came out. I have to slice, go to preview, and then check out X-ray view. And you know, white is just not going to work as an X-ray color. So I don't want it to be red, I don't want it to be purple. I do a lot of green X-rays, but green actually works really well for an X-ray, so let's try that before we give up on this entirely. Got my file open over here. I'm going to copy my green and paste. Save, and open another one. Alright, so if you have any ideas for themes, please leave them down below. I'd be happy to try out anything that somebody suggests. There are a lot of cool things that you can do modifying just little parts. As you can see, I've made quite a few different versions here. I would go through and load them all for you, but it does take a minute for me to open one and then close it and then select the next profile and then load it. So if you want to see them all, you'll have to download them for yourselves and kind of just take a scroll through there. I do plan on giving the whole bundle to Cura and telling them they can do whatever they want with it. But I'm also curious to see if there's a way that they can make it so you can update the UI without having to reload Cura, because I think that would get them a lot more support for people making their own custom skins. However, let's go ahead and do this one last time. Grab that, slice it up. I'm liking the color scheme here so far. Preview, X-ray. Ooh, actually, yeah, you know, green works really well. This is, I think, pretty close to the same green I'm using in the Superman. It's the only thing in that whole theme that's green. I figured we'd get away with calling it kryptonite. But, yeah, so far, so good. These guys right here, I should probably tell you how to change those before we leave real quickly. So, let's make one more minor adjustment. I know I said I'd let you go. This video is getting really long, but you guys are still watching it, so I mean, can't really complain, can you? Let's go ahead and grab our regular purple and then go into theme here. And this one's a really easy one. It's actually just under settings. Now, when you see settings category, that is these boxes right here, unexpanded. And then when you see settings control, those are the things within these boxes. So we're going to take settings category and we're going to make them purple. We're going to make the active ones, let's do dark purple. And let's make the inactive ones green. Now we'll make them green when you hover. And red if they're inactive. Alright, here we go. Last iteration I'm going to show you guys. While we're looking at these sliders where it says preview slider, this is the slider that moves you back and forth and up and down through the layers. These things are the things that are harder to find and figure out exactly which one they were to, because there's several sliders. But once you do, they allow you to add a little bit more depth and ambiance to what you're intending to get out of it. So there's that. Slice. And then if I go to preview mode, you can see, yeah, this is that slider it's talking about. Our stuff has changed color. Open ones are darker. I need to make a change to that before I forget. Setting category, active, text to white. And that's going to be it, guys. I hope you liked this video. You saw how to skin your own Cura theme. It is a quite involved process, going back and forth and testing and looking and trial and error, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like. But it is also very, very simple. I mean, if you want to get technical, this isn't even coding. This isn't even math. It's just changing numbers. And all you need to do is pick a color from the RGB color wheel, and you can be on your way. So like I said, if you like this video, if you want to see more themes, go ahead and click down below and subscribe. Leave me a like, leave me a comment down below telling me what themes you're looking for in particular. I have a lot more in mind, so this pack is actually going to be quite massive, and I'm really hoping that Cura will take it up and at least deliver a few of them to the public to give them some more options other than the plain Jane Ultimaker themes that they have. I mean, otherwise, why else would they have the option to select a theme if they didn't intend on releasing more? So, that's going to be it for this video, guys. So I'll see you in the next one. And that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for stopping by. If you'd like to become a Technivore, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. And YouTube's suggesting a video for you right here. And there's a playlist right here that's just 3D printing stuff. Also, if you'd like to see your name up top with the rest of my Patreon supporters,
head over to www.patreon.com/Technivorous. There, you too can contribute to the channel and make the Technivorous channel even better.